In the grim darkness of the far future, there's always some bullshit trying to kill you. This includes an army of space cockroaches. They're known collectively as the Tyranids, and are hungry fat asses who want to turn every living thing into a protein shake. Typically, a Tyranid invasion unfolds in distinct waves, known as Hive fleets. They come in different models, too, and are biologically adapted for specific scenarios, strategies, or enemies. This makes every Hive fleet unique. But then there's Hive Fleet Kronos. These specific roaches evolved to purely cuck the Chaos Gods. While Khorne is screaming about skulls, and Nurgle is playing with his own poop, Kronos shows up and treats their demons like popcorn chicken. You see, the Tyranids from Hive Fleet Kronos decided regular meat was boring, and evolved specifically to eat chaos. But to better understand Kronos, we have to understand their species. The Tyranids aren't even from our galaxy, but they somehow saw the Milky Way and thought it would be an easy buffet, so they started multiple tyrannic wars and lost most of them. However, nobody knows their actual goal. All we do know is that this isn't their final form. The fleets humans have encountered are just the scouting party. There is a very real, very terrifying theory that a main, larger fleet is coming, and once it hits, we're all fucked. There is no running away from a force that big. Regardless of their origins, each new Hive fleet demonstrates evolution from its predecessors, adapting to the specific enemies they encounter, and absorbing all the good shit. Take Hive Fleet Naga. It was small, but it was basically custom built to specifically fuck up the Eldar. While the Eldari eventually stomped Naga into paste, the damage was done. The bugs slurped up enough pointy-eared DNA to figure out how magic works. Because they snacked on Farseers, we now have to deal with Zoanthropes, a specialized psychic Tyranid with a huge brain that can literally blow up your mind. Now, with the birth of the Great Rift in the 41st millennium, there's a reason for the Tyranids to adapt to chaos. Normally, Tyranids don't touch them. You see, demons are made of warp juice and bad vibes, and not biological meat. So when you try to eat a demon, there are 0 calories. For a species obsessed with lunch, fighting chaos is literally a waste of energy. So this was no bueno. And for the longest time, anything chaos-related was a no-fly zone for the Tyranids. But Hive Fleet Kronos? They didn't get the memo. They looked at the giant ripped asshole in the galaxy and decided it looked tasty. Instead of avoiding the demons, Kronos goes out of its way to fight them. They are actively hunting down warp spawn, proving once again that the 40K universe will invent new and exciting ways to violate another species. And to dine on their new prey, Hive Fleet Kronos had to develop new combat methods. But how exactly do you punch a demon in the face? Well, to start off, Kronos weaponizes the shadow in the warp. Think of it as a massive galaxy-wide signal jammer. It extends for hundreds of light years, creating a dead zone where the Immaterium can't get a signal. This phenomenon isolates planets and causes severe psychological distress. Ordinary citizens are plagued by anxiety and nightmares. Meanwhile, those sensitive to the warp, such as psychics, are often driven to madness. They're hit with the mental weight of 1 billion alien insects screeching in unison. Most of them claw their own eyes out or just turn into drooling vegetables because their brains can't handle it. But this blockade acts as the ultimate cuck to chaos. By cutting off the warp connection, Kronos essentially unplugs the router that keeps demons existing. Demons without that constant flow of warp juice destabilize and fade away. They literally can't manifest in the physical realm. Now sure, fighting chaos is a great way to save the galaxy, but a shit way to fill your belly. Since demons dissolve into magical smoke when they die, they have 0 nutritional value. But Kronos is expending massive amounts of energy fighting the horrors from beyond the veil, and getting absolutely nothing back to refuel. By all rights, this fleet should have starved to death by now. But the hive mind isn't stupid. To ensure its survival, Hive Fleet Kronos relies on a unique symbiotic alliance with Hive Fleet Leviathan. The arrangement is terrifyingly efficient. Leviathan hits a normal planet teeming with life and murders everything on it. But it doesn't eat. Instead, it moves on, leaving behind a pile of corpses and biomass. Then, Kronos creeps in like a scavenger to slurp up the sloppy seconds. Basically, Leviathan does the grocery shopping and the cooking so that Kronos can focus purely on its full-time job of purging chaos. It proves that the Hive fleets aren't competing animals, they're different heads of the same hungry bastard, and they are coordinating perfectly to wipe us out. The final adaptation of Hive Fleet Kronos lies in their unique battle tactics against demonic foes. It basically boils down to one rule: don't touch the merchandise. Kronos avoids close quarters combat with demons like they've got AIDS, and that's because demons are godly in melee combat. They don't get tired, they don't get scared, and they don't bleed. Every Tyranid warrior that gets chopped in half by a bloodletter is a total write-off, a resource wasted on an enemy that offers 0 calories in return. It's just bad economics. To stop this from happening, Kronos completely ignores the standard Tyranid suicide strategy, and instead operates like a disciplined, biological firing squad. They stack the roster with an obscene amount of ranged firepower, hordes of termagants, massive biocannons, all designed to stand back and turn the enemy into Swiss cheese from a safe distance. This gunline works in perfect harmony with the Shadow in the Warp. While the Shadow is busy making the demons glitch out of reality, Kronos unleashes a tsunami of bioplasma missiles. The combination is efficient and disruptive. The demons are already unstable, so when the heavy firepower hits them, they get banished back to the warp before they can even get close enough to stab anyone. As of the current timeline, there have been a few famous encounters that the Imperium has made with Hive Fleet Kronos. In M42, an Imperial fleet was engaging in a massive Chaos War fleet. Everyone was prepared to die for the golden corpse on the throne. Then, out of nowhere, Hive Fleet Kronos decided to crash the party. Massive Tyranid bioships entered the battle, and the Admiral probably shit bricks, thinking he was about to be turned into roach protein. Surprisingly, the Tyranids ignore the Imperial ships and instead smash their way into the Chaos formation, swarming the Chaos fuckers. Not questioning his good luck, the Admiral of the Imperial fleet realized the universe was stabbing someone else in the back, and peaced out. In that same millennia, a huge battle took place on the world of Shadowbrink, but this was actually the second battle that happened on this planet. You see, Hive Fleet Leviathan had already had a bloody battle against the demons on this planet, and eventually repelled them. Shadowbrink turned into a lifeless husk, a graveyard of dust and disappointment, until the Great Rift appeared. Suddenly, this barren rock was swallowed by the warp and became the ultimate VIP lounge for a bunch of wannabe demon lords of khorne. These warp-huffing assholes spent their time reshaping the terrain into a literal hellscape of screaming faces and devilish nightmares, thinking they'd found the perfect real estate. Unfortunately for them, all that unlimited power smelled like a 5-star buffet to Hive Fleet Kronos. Attracted by the massive psychic stench of the demon's ego, the hive mind decided to perform a hostile takeover. It dropped spores onto 8 specific spots on the planet and puked out hordes of Tyranids, led by clusters of maleceptors and zoanthropes. These big-brained bugs started radiating the Shadow and the Warp so hard that reality actually began to scab over, basically cutting off the demon's Wi-Fi and making it impossible for them to keep their physical forms from falling apart. Khorne's mindless meatheads tried to charge the Tyranid lines to get into a good old-fashioned fistfight to stop them. But Kronos doesn't play that honorable combat bullshit. Instead of meeting the charge, the bugs just sat back and opened up with a literal hurricane of bullets. It was a shooting gallery with Tyranid artillery beasts turning thousands of screaming warp horrors into glowing piles of shit before they could even get within melee range. Shadowbrink was cleared out again, proving that in a fight between literal hell and hungry bugs, the bugs will always find a way to ruin your day. And there you have it. Just when you thought space cockroaches that hunt humans are scary, we now have space roaches that hunt literal fucking demons. It doesn't matter what faction you belong to in 40k, you're always just prey for some other grimdark being. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what faction or topic I should cover next. Also, if you want to support this heretical channel, I've just opened YouTube memberships. Go to my profile and hit the join button if you're interested in contributing to the Imperial Tithe.